So, hello and welcome to another special episode of the documentation of my quest to build the automation game world in the game Transport Fever 2. It's the year 2016, so the end of the build time, because there will not be any meaningful vehicle updates to anything. So this is basically finished, and in these special videos I'm using a few different ways to show you around the map. And today is a ride along together with a sim, so one of the fictional inhabitants of the game world, and if they don't take public transport, then they drive around with their cars. And today we will join Molly Moore, who was just in Al-Rilma in Dalluha, in the very east, shopping, and is now driving home to Zlisa at the western, or at the northwestern end of Archana. So switching to onboard view, and let's go. So that we will see one journey by car straight across Archana and Dalluha. So here we are on the outskirts of Al-Rilma. We see the big oil ports, and we see the 2 lanes here in action, and we're getting a green light. Perfect. So Dalluha obviously has great roads. These curves are unfortunately unavoidable and they slow cars down, but they don't have that many single lane roads. And that was the AI switching lanes. Yeah, it's not the most polished area, so to speak. So here we see an oil well and a cargo train coming into the big Al-Rilma port that's connected, into the Al-Rilma cargo station that is connected to the port. So now we are on our way towards Bazara, the capital of Al-Rilma, and we see lots of desert giving way to some mountains. So that's a mountain ridge, that's a natural border between Dalluha and Archana. So here we are outskirts of Bazara, so the moves now into the city roads. On the right we have the train tracks, and ahead we see the big passenger train station. Lots of trucks here supplying Bazara with stuff, so all sorts of things. The only thing they produce here is oil, and everything else has to be imported. So now we're following one of the gas trucks that are used for Archana. Ahead is the railway bridge that goes over the mountains into Archana. Otherwise it's then going to the center of Bazara. Hopefully we go ahead so that we get rid of the truck. Nope. Okay. So then we are stuck behind it, and they will unload, I suppose. So we will be stuck behind it a bit longer. So we're taking probably the shortest route, not the fastest route. So this car AI, the Sims AI, is not the most intelligent thing. And another cargo train we just briefly saw ahead, and now we are stuck behind the truck, so looking around a bit, so in this industrial area, and should be finished anytime with their business, unloading whatever they brought, so tools or machines or bricks that was imported to the port. There we go. And another cargo train now making its way back to Archana. We'll follow along that route just to the left and below. So the cargo trains goes higher to the mountain, whereas we're following probably a centuries old mountain pass that has now been built into a rather busy asphalt road. So here we are, the outskirts of Bazara, and now we're leaving Dalluha towards Archana. And this is one of the biggest, or one of the busiest train lines going between the port of Al-Rilma and then the Archanan basin. So Archana has rather terrible geography, so all the good stuff is inside the basin, but then you have to move the cargo from the outside, and there are 3 avenues to do that. One is Al-Rilma, that's why there are so close ties between Archana and Dalluha. The other one in the south is Zlisa, and then the third one is where we're going, Zlisa Zlisa in the northwest, and this in the south is Yelta. So getting the cities mixed up. So we're now already in Archana, and that's the train bridges towards Kronograd, towards the capital. So here is the first one, where all the trains, passenger and cargo, from Archana to Kronograd or Mara go in. Here we have one of the passenger trains just entering Kronograd. That's one of the trains that go around the Archanan basin clockwise or counterclockwise. This here is the train route into Advonia, so that's the port of Kronograd. So here we see one cargo train that's currently being loaded or unloaded, and then goes into the waters of the Archanan basin. Okay, so that's one dump truck that goes probably to Ruvatka, so bringing some grain. On the right we see another passenger train for the clockwise or counterclockwise basin route. So now we're stuck behind another gas dump truck, but it's going to Ruvatka, so it should turn right, whereas we'll continue straight ahead or lift towards the west. A plane ahead that will land in Kronograd airport. Yeah, so here we're getting rid of the truck, and now we have empty road. So on the left there behind these hills is the big river that crosses the Archanan basin. And a plane ahead circling, because Kronograd airport only has one runway, so if it's busy then they have to circle a third plane, so skies are getting busy. But these curves slow the AI cars down pretty well. So they all have tires made of wood or stone or something, apparently. So here we have the Yanagrad steel mill and its train station, so that they get coal and ore. There's a farm ahead, so it's getting a bit rural. On the left we see Glinsk with the train station and the train. Here we go right, so towards Yanagrad itself, and we're probably not going to beat the cargo train with ore and coal. No. So and not sure why we are stopping. Yeah, no, we would stop anyway at the railway crossing. Then we can enjoy a good look at the Archanan versions of wagons for coal, ore, grain, and stone. Okay, back the road. Here we see one truck that brought goods from Advonia, because it's painted in brown, so that was one of the trucks when I had to debug why there was a traffic jam, so I knew, okay, the brown trucks carry goods. So this is Yanagrad, train station on the left, you can't really see it. Behind this row of houses, more trucks and more irregular traffic. Autosave is on. I think I say it in every video, I always keep autosave on in case I screw something up, not because the game crashes, because this doesn't. But I'm not switching it back off for recording, because otherwise I would forget to switch it back on. I think I've done that once and I regretted it. So, outskirts of Yanagrad, another steel mill at the north of Novobeskov, also working in full swing. On the right we have a coal mine supplying that steel mill, and more coal and ore for the Yanagrad steel mill. It's one of the only trains, I think, that has mixed cargo. Normally I have pure ore or pure coal. That's always easy to distinguish wherever it is. And we have, that's probably the fuel refinery in Novobeskov, it should be smoking, not sure why it isn't. These things can get a bit cyclic because you get huge shiploads of cargo, and then sometimes the factories run out of stuff till the next shipload comes. So apparently it's now between supply of refined oil. Maybe it starts while we're passing through, not sure. So now we're approaching Vashduk, big industrial center. So the fuel refinery is one of 3 or 4 factories here. So there is a machines factory ahead, that's the smoke. There's a tools factory behind, that's the other smoke in the middle. And then we have a goods factory on the other side of the river. Yeah, I can say whether this is Vashduk or whether this is Volkov. Not sure at the moment. So here we have the huge cargo hub that is Vashduk. So a large port with lots of docking opportunities for the ships, the inland ships, and then also a very busy cargo hub to the right here up top, and a passenger station as well. So here on the left, on up the hill, that's the goods factory, and here on the right somewhere we have the tools factory. And yeah, there are always trains coming and going, so you usually will get stuck behind the barriers there on the right, and we will see some trains waiting and queued up as we now move towards Zlisa. So that was Vashduk, and now we're on a mountain pass, and with the train tracks to the right. Below bridges, that's all train bridges. Yeah, and here we see trains going up the hill and trains coming down the hill, or rather trains waiting that the traffic jam clears. So this truck probably goes to Rosendorf-Tenelova, the border town, or the between Gasmea and Archana. So we're going steep uphill and then downhill again through this tunnel, and the trains are still to the right, but on a different elevation and with a skylight. Interesting, haven't seen that before. Yeah, so there we see the trains, and they go uphill where we go downhill so that we can't pass under the trains. To the right is the industrial, or the not industrial, but the mining area of Notki. So there it goes into the hinterlands, where is basically nothing but mining and logging. So here we cross the train tracks. There was one of the passenger trains going from Vashduk to Zlisa and to Willburg, so that's one of the few new additions since the last update. So now that the borders are open between Gasmea and Archana, now we have train traffic, a diesel unit going between Vashduk and Zlisa and Willburg and back. Speaking of Zlisa, so this is Zlisa. And now the question is, where is the residential building, where we'll end the first part of our journey, and then we'll see which other sim we can hitch a ride with to some other interesting destinations that we maybe haven't seen yet, or not seen as much in the previous videos. So here to the left is the entrance to the huge cargo hub, cargo station. In Zlisa, here we can catch a glimpse at the storage buildings that I need to, that the goods don't spill over. Because these trains have somewhere between 200 and almost 300 units, and these need to be stored somewhere. Okay, so we seem to be close to home, because this is a side street, no sidewalk, and limited to 30. Okay, so that was the first trip, and let's see what other sims we have here and where they are going. So we have Robin Walker coming home, so nothing interesting. Maybe up here Maisie Jones. So unfortunately, the names are all English. I can't select localized names. Is going to Kula. That will stay on the north. That's something you'll see on the coastal bus ride. So something else. Seth Green goes home to Rosendorf-Tenelova. Perfect, because that's another area we haven't seen. So then let's join Seth driving through a building that's somehow spawned here. I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, so on board with Seth, going the same way back, but then we'll turn to an entirely new area, so further west, and then going through the old border town of Rosendorf-Tenelova that had an actual border, probably with a big border control, so think like Checkpoint Charlie in real life, and now things have opened a bit, so we see a bit more traffic through there, and then we can probably then sneak into Gasmea from Rosendorf-Tenelova. So the way back, so where we just came from, train now to the right, of course. The left we get a look at Notkey with the ports for logs and ore and coal. We will have plenty of trains going over our heads. And basically carrying everything of sorts either to or from Zlisa and Willburg. Coal, ore, grain, bricks, lumber, logs, you name it. Tools, machines. I think the only thing that's not carried is fuel or oil. So back to the tunnel with the unique skylight. I haven't seen that before. And here we get an excellent view of Willburg and all the train bridges and road bridges. So the red thing there is a road bridge. And here Willburg with a bit of unique city layouts into the hills, because there is no other space to expand. So now we turn right, going across the mountain ridge to Rosendorf-Tenelova. So the old border region where basically nothing but mountains. So here we have one of the few traffic lights that doesn't really need to be here, but anyway. These usually hinder traffic. So across the ridge, so now we're already looking at Gasmea. And here is Rosendorf on the left of the river, Gasmea, and Tenelova on the right, Archana. So the question is, do we live, or does our sim we're riding along with live in Archana or in Gasmea? I think the residential buildings might be all in Gasmea technically, but might be mistaken. No, there are also residential buildings here, so the city has developed. Yeah, so we live in Archana, in fact. The truck ahead is going to grab stone from the quarry next to Tenelova. So living at the true outskirts, very close to the quarry. That's where the truck is heading. Are we turning around? Nope, just living next to the quarry basically. Alright, so then we are in Tenelova. Let's see what other sim we can grab. So Evelyn Johnson is going home to Rosendorf. Here we have Jessica Edwards going to Rensweiler. That's something where we were in the next video, in the 6. Ronnie Patel goes to Willburg, that's fine. So let's go with Ronnie. So we keep going west. now in Gasmea, and we go to the regional capital of Willburg. So another tunnel, another mountain ridge. So Rosendorf-Tenelova pretty isolated between two mountain ridges, and here we see then the river Albe and the river Pade as part of Schemland, and now we're going downhill, and Willburg should appear after this left-hand corner straight ahead. So that's old Willburg. Lots of bridges. We need to lose some more height. Ships going back and forth between Willburg and Bad Neusund. We should turn left towards Willburg. Cutting right through. Plane in the air. So we have been in Willburg before, but I think not from this angle. So train station ahead, and here is the bus between Willburg and Rosendorf. So we're going to a residential area, which I think is further south. And then maybe another sim going across one of the mountains here. That's the airport bus, going between Willburg and Rensweiler and Willburg Airport. So we're going into old Willburg, you could say. So the city has grown towards the south, and this is the oldest part. You wouldn't see it from the houses, so they all have replaced the older era 2 buildings, I think, by now. Okay, we're there. And so let's see who else is on the road and where they are going. Kian Wood is going to Port de Imen. That's interesting. So probably let's take right along with Kian. Daisy Davis goes to Rosendorf, where we came from. Anyone else here? Doesn't look like. Nope. Then let's go with Kian across the mountains to Port de Imen. Or who else do we have here? Elliot goes to Bazara. That's the way we came from, basically. And Julia Robinson goes to Leningrad. So yeah, let's go with Kian then, because we'll see the Leningrad route in one other video of these specials as part of the high-speed train ride, where the final leg is a bus between Willburg and Leningrad to make it full circle. So Willburg now to the south, exiting the city. These trucks come from Fruinia, or this one goes to Fruinia, and they carry tools across the mountains, tools from Padita. So we're probably now stuck behind the truck, but it's empty, so that shouldn't be a big deal, and it's a Scania with a V8, so it should be able to hit 80 on the slope upwards. So this is New Willburg, you could say, so they've grown into this area because the city didn't have more space to expand. Montelaris quarry on the left, up there, and with its own port, which, yeah, there we see the port. And that stone goes west towards La and towards one other destination, I think. So now going uphill, still towards the south. So we see another of these tools trucks, so they are light blue. That's the in-game color for tools, and I gave these trucks these color because I had to debug them at one point. Here's the bus between Willburg and Leningrad, also one of the new connections. Now that the borders have opened, they will logically connect the closest cities. and there are only mountains essentially between here and Leningrad. So now up into the mountains. One last view of the valley where Willburg is placed. And yeah, the truck does a decent job going up here. And the limit is due to the corner radius and not due to the truck being full, because it's empty. It's a one-way thing, just carrying the tools across the mountains. So this is still Gasmea. And now we are approaching the three-way border between Gasmea, Fruinia, and Archana. Fruinia is in the south, and Archana to the east. More trucks, plenty of tools being carried across the mountain. A lot of landscape here. Rocks, trees, grass, and trucks with tools and without tools. So at some point the truck should turn right, and we won't, I suspect. Sometimes the wayfinding by the AI is a bit odd. We can catch a glimpse of Archana. Yeah, so the truck should go straight ahead and we turn left, question mark? Yes, we do. So that's the border here between Fruinia and Archana. So one other connection that has been opened. Still the old stone bridge. No one has really modernized the roads. So Archana is ahead, that's Leningrad ahead. So we are going to turn right before the water and then go to Imen in Fruinia. Another Willburg Leningrad bus, so there are two different buses running on that route. One is of the MAZ brand, which is the Asian one, and one is run by a Volvo bus that's then part of the European car set, as fitting for Schemland, so the eastern part of Gasmea. So nice view of the southern mountain ridge around the Archana basin. Another old bridge here. So down there is Leningrad. Up there is the autosave bar, progress bar. So these train tracks also have now catenaries. Here is the end point of the high-speed train connection that goes Leningrad along the south coast, so Terso, Berlau, all the way to Harford. So Leningrad to the left, but now we turn right. Here is Port de Imen. And let's see where the residential building is. And I think we'll end the journey here, because this town, I think we have probably stopped in the 1800s here or so, when there just was the connection between Leningrad and Port de Imen as the border city, and then everything else is the sort of coastal train route that has been part of a fair amount of videos so far. So this is then, or has been, a car ride from Dalluha through Archana, through the northern part, with a quick visit to Gasmea and then a ride to the mountains, so all the way back to Willburg. That's where we came from, and now we're here at the border between Archana and Fruinia. So as usual, I hope this was interesting and has given some new perspectives on this game world. And yeah, if you like it, there is the one more car ride on the other side of the map, and if you haven't checked them out, the other special videos use then planes and trains to show as many parts of the game world as possible. So, and I say, see you then.